And we are live. Hello, homemakers, and everyone in the chat or in the replay. If you're listening on the replay, hello. And tonight we are welcoming Dawn Madsen, the Minimal Mom, and she'll be giving you the best tips and tricks to declutter your house, her perspective on minimalism, why it's good for her family, and why it might be good for yours. But before we bring Dawn on, welcome to Homemaking with Purpose, where we bring to you the best ideas, interviews, and information for today's homemaker. I am Denise Jordan, your host, and this video is brought to you by Apron Diva, our online apron boutique. Pretty and practical, we believe that an apron can be a homemaker's best accessory. And as you can see, it is Cyber Week, so just about everything is on sale and a few things are sold out. So order your holiday gifts today and visit us at www.aprondiva.com. All right. So now that we've got the information from our sponsor, let's just go ahead and get right to it. Ladies and gents, let's bring Dawn on. Give her a warm Homemaking with Purpose welcome. Hooray! Dawn is here.
Hello. Thank you for having me. This is so fun.
Oh, I am so glad that you are here. We had people jumping on early already that were saying hello, hello. And this person jumped on last night to say that they couldn't wait till you got here. And then Kate Caton, Making Frugal Living Fun, who's going to be our guest next week, is
cool.
on tonight as well. And then, of course, Debbie Jones. She's one of my longtime supporters. So I'm going to stop chatting because, you know, I can chat. And I am going to go ahead and get into things. And like I said, Dawn, I am just so glad that you were able to join us. You were one of the first people that I started to watch when I began to explore, and shall I say, dabble with minimalism.
Oh, that's awesome, Denise. That's so cool.
Yeah, you really are. So Dawn has a YouTube channel and it is called The Minimal Mom. And I'm going to show it to you real quick. And you guys know I'm going to talk myself through this because if I don't, I mess it up. So here we go. Here is Dawn's channel right here at The Minimal Mom. So you can kind of see what she does. And she talks about minimalism and decluttering, and then how you can get your family to participate in it and that kind of thing. So be sure to check her out, and we'll come back and take a peek at this a little bit later on. But in the meantime, let me just say to the viewers, and everyone is saying welcome. Let's see. Debbie says she wish she had some questions tonight. Debbie, I'm glad you don't because we're not going to take questions live from the chat tonight. Dawn has to jump off, so we're not going to do questions live. I've got some questions for her. We're already going to cover, and then we're going to go. So once she's gone, if there's questions that you guys have that I can't answer, I'll send them to her, and then I'll get them back to you on the community tab because she's not going to be able to do that tonight. Let's see if there's something else that I need to do. Oh, and then ladies, this is Kate Caton. She's going to be our guest next week. So she's here checking us all out. So we're glad to have her here. And then we're two of her favorites.
Yay, Mary Beth.
It's good to have her there as well. And then look here. So then we've got, I shouldn't be doing this, but Debbie Jo said, nope, that's not Debbie Jo.
Hi, Ronnie.
Well, someone said they're looking forward to receiving her new workbook.
Yeah.
And then she also said she received her apron. So, okay, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So question number one for you, Dawn. Let's talk about family minimalism. What is it and what is it not?
That's a great question. I think I go back and forth if I should even use the word minimalism sometimes because it sounds kind of extreme. And I think for a lot of us, it seems like we're sacrificing, like we're going without, like you want to take away all of my stuff. And really what it's been for us is just simply getting rid of the stuff that adds no value to our life, that we're just maintaining, but we don't need it anymore. And I really just took a hard look at all of our stuff and said, am I using it? Will I use it in the next few months? And if not, it was an experiment in the beginning. I'm going to let it go and I'm going to see if I miss it. And it turns out that we were able to get rid of like 80% of our stuff and not miss any of it. Not miss it at all.
Okay, so I'm going to say boom, because the 80/20 rule was one of the things I was going to ask you about. You've already answered that one. Okay. So the biggest question that I have is, how do you get your family to buy into that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think for me, because I didn't know if it was going to work in the beginning, I was really testing it out for myself. And so I took over and control of the areas that I was in charge of: the kitchen, the kids' toys, my clothes, the kids' clothes. And really, I mean, that was probably like 70% of our stuff in our house, really, at that time in our life, having 4 young kids. And so I just did the areas I could control. And from there, then Tom got to experience it. Now, our kids were little at the time. They were infant through 4 years old. So I was in the driver's seat. But for Tom, I'm like, he just has to experience it. I'm not going to force it on him. And it really did take 4 to 5 years for him to come around. But it was okay because I was enjoying the benefits of my spaces being simplified. And so it was okay if his part of the closet or the garage or other spaces like that were still kind of messy, because I was still benefiting from the rest of the house being simplified.
I like that thought. You said that you were benefiting from the areas that you were in control of, and that of those things being simplified. And I think you made a key point when you said, number one, that it was about 4 years for it to kind of all sink in. So it's not
Mm-hmm.
like it happened overnight. And it sounds like that key um, statement that I hear so many people talk about in "don't declutter somebody else's stuff."
Yeah. Yeah, you have to build trust with them. Another thing that I like to recommend is, if you want to offer to help your spouse or someone else in your household, don't use the word declutter. The word declutter is scary. Usually it means I'm going to get rid of your stuff. I want you to get rid of your stuff. I like to use the word organize. Could I help you organize this space? Everybody wants to be more organized, right? And so if you say, could I help you organize? And then once you're there with them, you could say, you know what? It's hard to organize when there's too much stuff for these spaces. Could we, start to pare down some of this and take it that direction, but still being gentle with the process and giving them time?
Okay, I like that. I like that. Okay. So I thought your video on how to be a minimalist by Friday was very interesting. And I have to tell you, I was like, seriously? Like, can one really become a minimalist in a week? Tell us about that.
That's a great question. So I think you could. I think the key isn't getting the dumpster or getting extra people to help clear out your house. I think it's the mindset shift.
Ah,
And so it really, what stands in the way between someone and their goal of minimalism is really how quickly they can shift their mindset and the way they look at the stuff in their house. And so for me, that took about a year to really build up the confidence and trust myself in my decision making, to see that the areas I decluttered, I didn't miss the stuff. So then I felt confident to go further in other areas. And so that took about a year for me.
mhm.
But for some of us, we can get there quickly. I didn't have as many resources available to me at the time. I felt like I was kind of pioneering the family minimalism
Mhm.
path. And so I
I
feel
think I
like,
agree with you too, that you were kind of pioneering it for families.
mhm. But I think now with the resources that are available, you could declutter your whole house in a week, get a dumpster, get people to help you, and you would be so much better off for it. It doesn't have to take a year. So,
Okay. Well, I remember in one of your videos, though, you talked about options and you asked a question, which was, do you want options or do you want to have less stuff to manage? So let's talk
mhm,
about that. Because
yeah.
when I think about that, I'm like, okay, so options for what?
Hmm. Well, and that's where, so this idea, like for me, I've talked about lately that I've come up with like this uniform that I've been wearing. It's a black top and jeans, and that is all I'm wearing right now because I don't want options in my wardrobe right now. I want to get dressed in the morning in 1 minute. I don't want to use any of my precious mental energy for it. And so in that area, I've decided I don't want options. I want less to manage.
Okay.
But there might be another area of your life where you're like, but when it comes to baking, I want options. Like I love baking. I love managing the stuff. Maybe it's aprons, whatever it is. And so we can pick or choose which areas. Do you love shoes or love handbags? Maybe you want options and you want to manage more inventory in that area. But then when it comes to kids clothing and seasonal decor and, other stuff like that, you're like, I'm going to pare that way down so I have less to manage in that area.
When you say seasonal decor, so I did a Christmas in July and I pared way down. I probably had about 25 or 26 bins and boxes of Christmas decor. I think I went down to about maybe 18. Me and my husband were just talking about that today, and he was saying, well, there's still all the same number of bins. I said, well, yeah, honey, but there's not as many boxes sitting on top of the bin. But I decided that this year, when I decorate for Christmas, that what I don't use,
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going to donate because
Yeah.
I really want to manage less, particularly at the season of life that I'm in right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need all of this stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
thinking more and more about cleaning and decluttering and Swedish desk cleaning. Also, thanks to
Mm-hmm.
you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of us, we like to think like, oh, when the kids are a little older, then I'll have more time. Or once the kids go to college, then I'll have time. Or this. And we kind of glamorize the future thinking like, but then I'll have time. And I don't know that time comes. And then we get further along and then we're like, I don't have the energy. I might have the time, but I don't have the energy, right? And so I don't know that we ever get to a point where we're like, I want to manage all of this inventory. I would rather pass stuff on now, let other people use it, and
Mhm.
then down the road, if I wanted to acquire a piece or here, there, I mean, marketplace is so easy, right? I mean, acquiring stuff is so easy. That's not the problem, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. Oh, now I'm going to ask the viewers to be sure and stay to the end for some announcements that I have. And we will do the lightning round as usual, but just make sure you guys stick around. So, okay. So let's talk about more isn't more. What does that mean?
Well, so I gave the example last week that Tom and I went out. Well, we went out to eat, but we took Chipotle into the car to sit and visit and eat, right?
Mhm.
And so I got the burrito bowl with rice and all the toppings, and I forgot to get a fork. And so I was like, oh, darn it. So I had to run back in and get a fork. And I came back out, and it just struck me. I was like, all I need right now is one fork. If I had two forks or four forks, that adds no extra value. In fact, it kind of detracts because then I have more forks that I have to manage. And so this idea that we're gatherers, like we're hardwired to gather and to collect extra and collect extra. And we have to actively work against that to remind ourselves, no, more doesn't add value necessarily. More forks doesn't help me. More pairs of shoes doesn't necessarily help me. More pots and pans does not help me. That once that need is met, having more and more actually starts to detract from our quality of life because now we have to manage all of that stuff.
And that makes perfect sense. I was just, as you were saying that, I was thinking about I have a set of cookware. I've got a set of red Curtis Stone cookware, which I use mostly all the time, and I really enjoy it. I've also got some stainless steel cookware that I had before I got that. And I use a couple of the pieces every now and then, or if I need two small saucepans, I'll get out the red one and the stainless steel one. But there's probably some other pieces in there that I don't use.
Mm-hmm.
There's one or two that my husband uses all the time. But I thought the place that I have to store them in, I'm always having to move them around, pick this one up to get that one out. And so it is like a lot to manage. On the other hand, sometimes I worry about not having what I need.
Yep.
So when you said something related to having just what you actually use and need, that was a little scary for me. I was thinking, well, that's really going to limit the amount of things that I have, number
Mm-hmm.
one. And some of the things that I don't use or I didn't think I used, like I gave my sister a set of plates. She moved into a new apartment. I gave her a set of white plates and I thought, I am not attached to these plates. I actually got them at the Goodwill in a picnic basket. So I thought she can have these for dinner plates, for lunch plates. Because I had 9 sets of dishes at one time in my everyday cabinet. I thought I could give her a set. And then one day I was getting ready to do something and I reached up in the cabinet. I'm like, oh, where are my plates? Now I had plenty of other plates to choose from, but I realized I wanted those plates. Or if I'm doing
Mhm.
a YouTube video and I'm shooting food, those
Yeah.
are the perfect plates for food. Now I've
Yeah.
got some other small white plates that were luncheon size, but they're not quite as nice. And then I gave another sister a set of really nice dishes that I was going to not only use for like tablescapes or fancy occasions. So I thought, I don't need those. Then I thought, it's Christmas. I need to set a Christmas tablescape. So help me with that. Help me with the
Yeah.
thought that, oh, what if I
Mhm.
need it?
Right. So what did you do then, Denise, when you realized, oh darn, I would have used those right now? You just used something else?
I used something else. I had plenty to choose from.
Yeah. So that's also what I talked about in that same video is accepting the risk that comes along with it. So I've decided for myself, especially the season of life that we're in right now, we have 4 young kids, but maybe for others right now it's caring for loved ones. I know so many friends that are caring for family members that have
Mhm.
extra needs. And I decided that right now, the season of life I'm in, I'm willing to take that risk. I'm willing to take the risk. I might not have all the right stuff to set my table for Thanksgiving or when I go to decorate for Christmas. I could use some more garland or whatever. I'm willing to take that risk right now because I love managing so little inventory. The only way I've been able to stay on top of my house now is by having so much less to manage. And so I'm okay with the occasional inconvenience or needing to borrow something from someone because of the benefits. The benefits are so great to me. For others, if you're like, well, I'm on YouTube and I want to make beautiful food shots, then you might decide, no, I need to keep more inventory in this area so I feel prepared and I feel like I'm doing a good job at this. But that's again where we kind of get to pick or choose depending on the season that we're in.
I think you're right. And I completely hear all of that because, like I said, I just used something else now where there's not, whether or not I might have preferred a different
Yeah.
set. I certainly had everything that I needed to
Hmm.
do with that. So, okay. All right.
You ask good questions, Denise.
Yeah, I've been thinking a lot about this because so many of the viewers have been thinking about, oh my gosh, Melinda Plain and Simple says that she has 36 bins of Christmas. What can happen?
Do we have a prize for that tonight?
Whoa, I thought I had a lot, but she said it's 36. Okay. All right, G. All right, let's see. Next question. So, what are your top 3 decluttering tips? Help us with that. Top 3
Yeah.
decluttering tips.
I think number one is to start looking at the stuff in our home as inventory. So this has probably been one of my most popular ideas is that every item in our home is inventory that we have to manage. We
Mhm.
have to take care of it. We have to keep it dry. We have to remember we have it, not forget about it, not let it go bad, keep it organized. And so that actually takes a lot of work to manage all of this inventory in our home, but we rarely ever think of it that way. So if we can make this shift to look at every item as inventory, it kind of takes some of the emotion out of it, and it's like it's not a personal decision. I just simply can't manage
Mhm.
36 totes of Christmas stuff, right? I can manage 18, that's fine. 36 too much, right? And like what does Walmart do if they have too much inventory? They put it on clearance, right? They get it out of the store. Number two is to recognize that often we can't do this alone. I think one thing that we think is that I got myself into this mess. I need to get myself out of it. And so recruiting someone as an accountability partner, like my mom will text me photos. She'll like take a before picture. She's like, I'm going to tackle this. I'm going to declutter this today. And then I'll say like, okay, where's the after photo? And I hold her accountable with that. And I think we all need someone in our life that either can come physically help if we need help taking out donations or can just be that accountability in our life. And then number three, Wow, I'm totally blanking on that
That's
number.
always the hardest one. The third one is always the hardest one.
I actually had a root canal today. I was telling Denise, so that's why I'm going to duck out a little bit early. But I feel like it's a little too close to the brain where they put like the Novocaine and
Okay.
everything.
Well,
Do you
that's
have one, Denise? What would be your third tip?
I think just maybe giving yourself a time limit when you're decluttering. Like I
Mm,
started setting a timer when I was doing the Christmas decor, and I would
yeah.
set the timer for 15 minutes. Like I would set it on my
Mm,
phone for 15 minutes.
yeah.
Then I would like start on a bin or two bins. And then when
Yeah.
I was done, I just had to move on. And it
Yeah.
helped me stop like really pondering over
Mm,
each and every item. It was like,
yes.
okay, make a decision and let's just keep it moving.
That's good because decision fatigue is real. And so, especially if you're doing anything like sentimental or that just really is a little bit harder decisions, I
Mhm.
think that's so wise. Like, set a time and then cut it off and give your brain a break, go do something else for a while, and then come back for another 15 minutes.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've been doing is I've been doing my Swedish death cleaning is I will ask my kids or my grandkids, would you like to have this or that? And if they say they might like it, I just put it in a box and I just mail it to them because
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
I got to get it out of here now.
Yep. That's wise.
Otherwise, and
Yep.
I don't want them to have to deal with all of it later.
Yes. Amen. Yep.
But
Mhm.
the sentimental clutter I haven't tackled yet. My mom passed a year ago in August, and I
Mm.
still got boxes
Yeah.
of photos and stuff that somehow I inherited. Now, and so I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going through those right now because I got other stuff that I'm trying to get.
Yep. Yep. That's wise.
Okay. Um, what questions should we ask ourselves when we're trying to declutter?
It kind of depends on what it is that you are decluttering at the
Mhm.
time. But a question I think that gets overlooked is, how does this item make me feel? And it kind of goes along the lines of Marie Kondo, does it spark joy?
Oh,
But
yes.
I think we often keep stuff in our home that doesn't make us feel good. It could be clothes that are too small. It could be a birthday gift that we never really liked, sentimental stuff that was given to us that we didn't invite into our home. We didn't necessarily go out and choose it. It was just like, here you go. And, then here we are with it. And so to actually ask ourselves, does this bring up happy memories? Am I glad when I see it? A lot of sentimental stuff doesn't necessarily remind us of happy times. And so it's okay to then pass that stuff on. I love the idea of the silent to do list too. Um, this idea that every item in our home is telling us, it's sending out this silent message of something that we have to do. And so often, if we have like clothes in our closet that don't fit, it's saying, lose weight. Like, why did you buy
Oh,
me? And it's taunting us. And so it's like, why do we keep that in our home? You might decide to put it in a bin and put it somewhere else for like maybe you are hoping to fit into it, but don't keep it hanging in your closet and letting it send these negative messages to us.
I like that, the silent to-do list. One of the other things you talk about too, I think it's you that talks about this, is your fantasy self and
Yeah.
what you think about things that you're going to do. Because I thought about that, and I got a whole room full of scrapbooking stuff that I rarely use anymore. But
Hmm.
like I might make a couple Christmas cards or something like
Yeah.
that, and I've saved some scrapbooks that I plan to make for the grandkids. But I just really haven't been working on that now. So
Yeah.
I've been thinking and looking at that a little bit differently. I could use that space for some of my apron inventory
Yeah.
of paper that I'm not using.
Yeah. And I think with the fantasy self, I've also heard it called like self discovery. That, maybe 5 years ago, I was like, I'm going to make a scrapbook for every grandchild and it's going to be awesome. But we get to a point where we sometimes just have to say, that was such a great idea. I really had good intentions, but where I'm at right now, it's just not practical. And that's okay. And to let ourselves off the hook and not beat ourselves up about the money we spent and that I made it for one grandchild and not the other, that it's okay and it'll be okay.
Exactly. Exactly. Oh my goodness. I remember when the grandkids were here for a family wedding and they were all here. And for some reason or another, we got out a scrapbook that I had made for my oldest granddaughter when she was a baby. Then I had made one for my second grandchild, which was a boy when he was a baby. And then the two little girls were like, well, where's ours? And I'm like, well, I plan to do one for you guys, but I don't scrapbook anymore. But
Yeah.
I guess I better come up with something though, because they're like, well, where's ours?
I have heard though others say that they'll just like they'll go to like Shutterfly or one of those sites and make one digitally. It's not quite the same, but still, I mean, kids just love seeing photos of themselves, right? Whether it was made online or, in person. I think doing something like that might be a little quicker. I don't know.
Yeah, it would certainly be a lot quicker. You're
Yeah.
definitely right about that. Um, I also like the comment that you always make that the things we are not using can be a blessing in someone else's life. And I know that faith is important to you and your twin sister Diana and that kind of thing, but just the fact that, the things you're not using can be a blessing in someone else's life. Can you just talk about that briefly?
Yeah, I think my mom really raised us with this idea that it's really hard for us to enjoy what we have if others are lacking. And I think especially this time of year, around the holidays, um, it's so easy to get caught up in what we're buying for our family and ourselves. And um, it leaves us feeling a little bit empty. And I
Mm.
think we don't always recognize where that's coming from. It's a busy time of year. Um, but there is just so much joy in being able to take things that we are not using that might get damaged or broken while we're just storing them for someday, and to be able to bring it and bless someone else. I mean, I almost feel selfish at times when I'm like going to the women's shelter and I'm bringing like makeup that I didn't use and hair products, and I'm like bringing it to them because I feel good about myself, right? And I'm like, I almost feel like I'm doing this for myself and not for them, because
Yeah.
I just need to do something for someone right now, And so to not let it go to waste in our home for someday when someone else could be making use of it, I think it feels so good to get that stuff out of our house.
It really does. And the rainy day for us is something else, but it could
Mhm.
be now for someone else. I remember I was listening to some video, I can't remember who or where or what, but the woman was talking about going to a thrift shop and sitting outside in her car before she went in and saying, Lord, please let there be a coat for a boy in a
Mm.
size 3 when I get inside that store.
Wow.
And there was not. That's not what she was looking for. And she said she ended up having to go like to Walmart or someone else, like somewhere else like that, to buy one, and thought about all the people that go to thrift shops and buy for reselling, that kind of thing.
Oh,
And
okay.
she thought about how she just really needed a coat for her child.
Yeah.
And I've thought a lot about that
Yeah.
particular situation since then, about thinking there
Yeah.
are things that I have that I think about the fact that I spent money on them, but I thought, okay, so you spent money on them, you got your value out of them, whether you use them or not,
Yep.
they brought you value in some way, and now you're ready to let it go.
Yeah. Oh, that story gave me goosebumps to think that someone might be at the thrift store, this weekend looking for what it is that you have to donate. So,
Exactly,
yeah,
exactly. So,
that's so good.
Dawn, tell me about your new workbook. I was watching one of your videos, and then you and Tom were all excited, and I thought, workbook. So tell us about your workbook.
I have not done a good job promoting it. I don't want people to get clutter in their house, but I've really just tried to take all of these key ideas that we talk about inventory and the silent to-do list, and I wanted to get them all into one place. And so it is lessons that go through each area of your home. So we talk about pots and pans and food storage containers and clothing and shoes, and we try to kind of go item by item through your house to give guidelines for how much to keep and how to know what to let go. And then throughout it, we have these kind of key concepts interspersed that I mentioned. And so it ended up being like 170 pages, full color, spiral bound, so it can lay flat while you work. There's questions for you to write in. There's some worksheets to know, how to arrive at what to keep. And so uh, you're so sweet, Denise.
I ordered mine. They're pre-ordered, and Debbie Joe ordered one too. So Debbie Joe
You
is
guys
one of
are
my
so
long.
kind.
I'm looking forward to getting it. And so then I was looking in the description box, and it said the course starts December 26th. I'm like, what course is it? The other course? So tell us about your course. And I'm going to share the screen a little bit while you talk about it.
So I did writing a book is so far outside of my wheelhouse. We actually hired a technical writer so that it would be good. So I was like, as I was writing it, I'm like, I have to make a course that goes along with this so I can talk everyone through the lessons as well. So there is a companion course that goes with it. And right now, our Christmas gift to you is that you can just pay what you can afford for the course. And so you can enter any amount and you will get the course. It's over 25 lessons that's meant to go hand in hand with the workbook.
That is really a blessing when you say just pay whatever you want to pay for the course. And then you can pre-order the notebook. So
Yeah.
really,
I just want, Denise, I mean, too, as you've simplified, once you get your house decluttered, I don't know. I realized how much I was beating myself up. I mean, it still seems ironic that I'm here like on a homemaking show, right? Because I was a horrible homemaker. I felt so guilty every day. And it was once I realized I'm like, no, Dawn, you're not messy. You're not lazy. You're not disorganized. You just had too much inventory. You were trying to do too much, right? And so I want everyone to be able to declutter their home, simplify it to the point you don't have to be a minimalist. That's fine. Get it to the point where it's manageable, where it's peaceful, where you enjoy being in your home. It's such a gift. It's a gift for you. It's a gift for your family. And so I want that for everyone.
I like that idea. And I really like the fact that you said you don't want to leave anyone out. So people
Yeah.
can pay what they can afford for the course.
Yeah.
So people, I've got the link for the course is right here where you
Thank you.
can
I appreciate that.
pre-order it. So it's right there. And check it out. And then also I've got the link for the workbook, I think. Yeah, well the course,
Yep. They're both on that page. Yep.
they're
That's
both on that
awesome.
page. So you can
Thank you.
check
I appreciate
that
that.
out. You are welcome. Now tell us about the Take Your House Back course that you do with Cas and Dana.
Oh my goodness. If you want to laugh while you declutter, I hope you can join us for this course. It'll open up again in a week and a half, but it's Cass from Clutterbug and Dana from A Slob Comes Clean. And we kind of just put our minds together to come up with our best of the best tips for decluttering your home. And so it's a little bit of like the higher level of like how we shift, how we look at it. So it's a little bit different than my course. The courses, they actually go like hand in hand. But there is just something magical. I'm sure you feel like this, Denise, when you collaborate with other homemakers. When
Mhm.
the three of us come together, we talk about our shared experiences. It is magical and it's so much fun. And the tips that come out and the advice and the encouragement, it's so cool. So that'll be opening up here in about a week and a half. And if you haven't joined us, if you need to declutter, ask for it for Christmas, put it on your wish list, whatever you got to do to get in there because it's really good.
That's the one thing that I've found. I've been putting more and more things on my wish list, but also think about treating yourself too, because we so often as
Yeah.
homemakers, we think about what our families need, but what
Mhm.
do we need? And I like the idea of like the Facebook group that you can, if you're struggling with a particular area in your house, you can get on the Facebook group
Yeah.
with the other people about that. So that's kind of fun in that regard as well. So, okay, so let's see.
Thank you for letting me do all these plugs, Denise. I appreciate
Well, you
it.
know what? I feel that you take the time to come on the show and you're pouring into my viewers, and a few of yours have come over to join us as well. So I feel like that's win-win for us both. So certainly you get to talk about what it is that you're doing. And I tell you what, I will say I am just a little jelly because I should be doing something too. One of my little sisters on YouTube, she did an herb course. She's starting some other things that she's doing. And my YouTube mentors have said, Denise, you should be doing this. You should be doing this. You should be doing this. I'm not doing any of it. But I did start the show. I did start the show. They said, you need to start a show. And I
Yeah.
did do that. And I am loving the show. But anyway, I'm starting to chatter. So I'm trying not to do that. So let's get to the lightning round.
Okay.
So, and I can't let you off the hook for that
Oh
because
no, this is fun.
yeah, I was with the lightning round once, and somebody said, "What? No lightning round?" So they like that.
Yeah.
All right. So, oh, and someone asked me to do closed captions. I don't know how to do that on this, but I'll try to figure it out.
Yeah.
I might have to do that on the replay. So we'll
There you
see.
go. Yeah.
All right. All right, ladies and gents, lightning round coming right up. So, Dawn, introvert or extrovert?
Introvert.
Sunrise or sunset?
Ooh, sunrise.
Nonfiction or fiction?
Fiction.
80-20 or 60-40?
80/20 when it comes to decluttering. 60/40, my glass is always more than half full.
Okay. I like both of those. Okay, I like that. All right. Walleye sandwich or strawberry delight?
Ooh, strawberry.
Okay. All right. I had to look to see what were some of the best Minnesota
Yeah,
dishes.
yeah, you got it. Fish
Sandwich,
sandwich, yeah.
strawberry delight, and I was like, okay, strawberry delight. I used to make an orange delight for my kids and my
Ooh.
nieces and nephews. They hated it. It was pureed squash.
You were tricking them.
Yes. All right. Ski trip or camping?
Camping.
Okay. Bombay cocoa or hot cider?
Oh, cocoa.
Okay. Boot cut or skinny jeans?
Oh my goodness, boot cut. I'm so glad they're coming back. I think I ordered the first ones from Express. Boot cut all the way.
Eat that frog or atomic habits?
Oh, eat that frog.
Okay. I learned about that from you as well.
Yes.
All right. Well, Dawn, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate it, especially since you weren't feeling up to par. The fact that you actually came on here and talked and moved that poor little jaw.
No, it's fun. Denise, I think you should do a course. Has your viewers helped you brainstorm what would be a good course for you to do?
Oh, they've talked about it. And I've talked to my one little sister, Khadija. We've talked about that. My sister talks about it all the time. She called a meeting for our business and had a whole list of things that I should be doing. So I'm like, okay, so for 2022, these are some of the things
Yeah.
that I have on the agenda.
Yeah.
Oh, I also started my apron business too.
Well,
So
that's exciting. That's a big deal. That's really cool. I want to check those out. I don't have an apron, so I'm like, I think I need to go shopping.
well, stop right on my site.
Yeah.
Most of the things are on sale, so please do that.
Definitely.
All
That's
right.
awesome.
And I always say that an apron can be a homemaker's best accessory. Like I don't even wash dishes without putting one on, and certainly would attempt to cook. And
Yeah.
and you can wear them too.
Yeah. No, I like that. I think once you get in the habit of it, I can imagine that you don't go without it then.
Mm-mm.
All
Nope.
right. I like that.
Well, listen. Let's see. I appreciate you joining us tonight. And how can the viewers connect with you? What do you want them to do?
Yeah, I think, we spend most of our time on YouTube. So if you check us out at the Minimal Mom, that's where you'll find all our best stuff. So
I thought I had. I'll just share the screen again real quick, and I'll just show that because I thought I had put a banner for that, but I guess I didn't. So we'll go here. So you can connect with her here at the Minimal Mom. And are you on Instagram or anything like that?
I am. Yeah. If you look the Minimal Mom on Instagram too, it should pop up. So
All right. All right. Well, ladies and gents, we're going to let Dawn go, and then I'll check out your questions, and then I'll send them to her if there's something I can't answer.
yeah, shoot them over. I'd love to answer more. So
All right. Again, Dawn, thank you so much for joining us. I'll see
thanks,
you soon.
Denise. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Guys, wasn't she great? Oh my goodness. Wasn't she great? And I am sorry that we didn't have time for comments earlier because as she shared with you, she had a root canal today, so her jaw is still pretty sensitive. So I'm surprised that she could even talk tonight. So I thought, okay, let's just get her on and get her off. So I'm going to start at the bottom and see what people are saying. So, oh, Michelle said that was great. Michelle, I felt like I was on a bullet train. I was going so fast because I was really conscientious of the fact that her jaw was probably giving her some discomfort. So I just went down the list of the questions that I had prepared. You know how I do. And tried not to chat too much. You guys know I still chatted a little bit. And so, yes, so Penny wants to know if I'm going to put the links to her book or program in the description box, and I will. So I'll be doing that, and I'll do it right after we get done talking here. So I'll have that in there. And let's see. She Who Prays Daily, welcome to the show. She thought we did a good job, so that's great. And it was fun. It really was fun. So at what cost? Thank you for joining us as well. And yes, Dawn was definitely awesome. And let's see. Debbie Joe. Oh, so She Who Prays Daily says some cleaning YouTubers seem to stage their messy homes, clean one day, and a few days later it's trash. I don't know if that happens or not. I've heard people say that they think people do that. But I tell you what, my house can be clean today, and within a couple days, it can get pretty messy depending upon what's going on in my life. When my family was here for the Thanksgiving weekend, my little granddaughters and then my nieces, they were in the living room, and there was stuff everywhere. One day I came down, not this time, but one other year I came down and they had taken the pillows off the sofa and were making tents and all kinds of stuff. And my husband's pretty messy in the family room too. He'll be working on a project. Maybe he's tying flies or he's painting bobbers and he'll have stuff out all around. So that can happen. But trust me, I do not need to stage mess to have a messy house to clean. It happens naturally around here. So she says, real cleaners maintain the clean. I try, but I don't always manage to maintain it. Okay, let's see. So Penny says, awesome show. At what cost? Says, this was so fun. This was fun. And Dawn, isn't she sweet? Oh my goodness, she is just so nice. And the Melinda Plain and Simple, thank you, Melinda. And I believe Melinda Plain and Simple, aren't you our Mimsy Whimsy? She says she really likes the interviews, and I am really enjoying this interview format because we can really bring people with different perspectives and even homemakers with different perspectives to our um, platform. So She Who Prays Daily, what is your name, She Who Prays Daily? We'd like to know what each other's names are around here. Says you've been an organizer since the age of 15. I have been disorganized since probably the age of 10, and I'm finally getting some things under control. Oh, feel like you're watching an interview with a celebrity. Oh, I did too. I was just like, oh, she's just so nice and just has, she's just great. All right, let me get back up to the top now and see what I missed early on. So next week, we're going to have Kate Caden from Making Frugal Living Fun on. She's our guest next week. So she jumped on tonight to kind of see how things go. So you guys come on back next week to see her. And Debbie Jo said she was looking forward to tonight's Q&A. And let's see what else is on here. Oh, I just got a message from Mickey Blue Skies, and she pulled the winner for our apron note. So let me go ahead and do that. And I have the apron note right here. And this week's apron note is carve out time for yourself daily. Carve out time for yourself daily from the Apron Diva. Now, for those of you who are new and you're probably wondering, well, what's an apron note? Well, in our apron boutique, we put an apron note in with every order. And we put the notes in because we want the homemaker to feel like they're receiving a message from their dearest friend. And so often homemakers don't feel appreciated. So we want them to know how much they really are appreciated. So we put the apron notes in. There's 14 different notes. And we say, you don't choose the note chooses you. So again, carve out time for yourself daily. I'm sure this note is resonating with someone out there tonight. And Mickey Blue Skies chose the winner, and the winner is She Who Prays Daily. That was a little bing you just heard. She was letting me know from the random comment picker who the winner is. So She Who Prays Daily, you will need to send me your mailing address at this address, this and that with Denise at gmail.com. Don't put it in the chat because that's open to the public and anyone can see it. Email it to me, and then I will mail you out your apron note. And then Dawn will get an apron note as well, since she was our guest. So, okay, so send me your mailing address at this and that with Denise at gmail.com. Okay, let's see. What else am I missing? Debbie Jo said her aprons arrived on Saturday. So thank you, Debbie, for ordering. And Debbie Jo's looking forward to the new workbook. Nefertiri, how you doing? Hey, D at D Lovely Life. I didn't greet you earlier because I had to get started. Simply Sherry. Oh, hey, Sherry. Hi. Good to have you join us as well. It's so nice when I have former guests pop on as well. So Nefertiti says she's introverted, homebody, adult with ADHD. Minimalism is a big part of her well-being. You know, I am trying to get to a place where I have less stuff because I do feel better when I don't have quite so much to manage. And I think the comment that John had, which was, do you want options or do you want to have the simplicity and the less anxiety that goes along with less stuff? And I'm at the point now where I'm like, I want the simplicity. I want the less anxiety. I want to be more comfortable. So I'm for that. So Dee says her husband has been watching her declutter a lot. And this year he's beginning to let go of his things. And you know, Dee, it is catching. When my husband watches me declutter my closet, a little bit later on, I'll see him working in his closet. So yes. And I think that's the key point. You said he's letting go and my husband is starting to let go, but we're not messing with their things. Hey, Miss C, it's always good to have you here. So Dee, how long did that take for you to work on things? Kathy said she's been following Dawn for a couple of years. Yes. Oh, Kathy, I get it totally. Having less inventory is so helpful. I did some decluttering in my closet and I now have more space to hang things. It's just so nice. So Debbie Joe said she's on the fourth round of going through her house. It's getting close to being where she wants it to be. And you're right, it is a process. And Rosary Chaplet, hello, she's back with us today. And then Nefertiti says her husband's clutter seems to be a part of how he functions. It doesn't make sense to her, but she honors it and doesn't touch his clutter. I get it, Nefertiti. My husband has a lot of clutter too, particularly around the area where he likes to sit if he's working on a project. I'm like, why don't you just pick it up and put it away once you're done? But he likes being able to just kind of sit there, leave it, come back to it, that kind of thing. So Dee says it took her 4 or 5 years to kind of get some things situated, decluttered. Melinda says she's been wearing the same black top in all her videos. I've been working on my closet and I'm not pleased with where it is yet, but I'm looking at maybe beginning to do some kind of a smaller capsule wardrobe. So Ronnie said she found that when she declutters, she's moving most of her clutter to another area of the house. Ronnie, you're not decluttering. If you're moving stuff from one area to another area of the house, all you're doing is moving it around. When you're decluttering, you're either donating or you're discarding. And then you put things where they belong. If it doesn't have a home, it's clutter. And you need to either find a home for it or declutter it by tossing it or donating it. So Melinda said she did that with things she wasn't ready to deal with. And yeah, that could be too. But if you're doing that with everything, then you haven't made the decision yet to part with some things. And decluttering can be hard. You know, it is emotional. There's some emotions involved. And yes, Melinda, or rather Ronnie, it can be overwhelming to declutter. That's why you have to start small. One of the things that Michelle at My Everyday Wife Life, who's on, says, she'll say start with a drawer. Start with one small area. You can start with a drawer, start with a closet. And the thing that I learned from Dana and Cas and Dawn through their decluttering course is you want to declutter with stuff that you're going to toss, put in a black trash bag so you can't see what's in the bag and your family can't see what's in the bag. So nobody goes through the trash to take something out. And number two, put it in a box that you don't need back when you're going to donate. Because you guys have probably seen a couple of my videos. If it went in a box and sometimes I looked in that box and I might have touched it again, if I handle it again, the chances are it's going back into the cabinet. So put it in a box that you don't need to have back and then just put it in the trunk of your car and then get it out of the house. So Melinda says Dawn has helped her with the mindset change. I'm still working on that in some areas, but I've come a long way with the mindset change as well. Yeah, more is not more. Less is more. Oh, Michelle said she's got 15 Christmas bins and 2 trees. Or she used to have 15 bins and 2 trees. Now she has 8 bins and 1 tree, hoping to downsize more. I'm going to go down less too. My husband said he does not want to have to put as much up in that attic as he did when he brings it down. And here's the other thing. We're getting older. So when I pack all that stuff up and he's got to put all that stuff in the attic, we've got to get our son to come over and help him put it up and get it down now. It's just too much for us to manage. So we're going to deal with less. Nefertiti, more isn't more. Amen. Oh, guys, excuse me for. Hey, May May, good to have you join us. So Melinda did a video on her Christmas declutter. Let's see. So Nanny J says, it does take, if you turn it into a business decision where you're looking at the clutter as inventory and not as something that you need to hang on to, but as inventory, it does take some of the emotion out of it. And then when she said every item represents a decision, that makes it easier for her to declutter. I want to make the decision once and be done. That's how I was able to declutter like some of the planners and things that I have over here. I decided, you know what? They're lining up here. I had planners from 4 or 5 years ago, and I thought I really looked back at them. So the ones that I had some really cute layouts that I wanted to keep, I just ripped those out, put them in another planner in the back of one so I could look at it, and then I just kind of pitched the rest. Melinda says 45 years of Christmas stuff. I get it. So Michelle said when KonMari was all the rage, she thought people thought they had to get rid of everything they didn't need in a year. Curious about Dawn's thoughts on that. I think I'll ask her about that, but I didn't feel like, she doesn't feel like, from what I've heard her talk, she doesn't seem to believe that you have to get rid of everything and feel that you're doing without. I think she believes you keep what you feel like you need, but they should be things that you really need. But I'll send that to her and ask her what she thinks. Hey, Kathleen, good to have you with us. And yes, it's good to do it slowly. I think you need to. So Kathleen, activate closed captions on my end. I don't know how to do that on this, at least not now, but I can, when I do the replay, I can go in and I can put those on. So I'll do that. All right. And then Melinda says she sees all of her fantasy self stuff differently. I'm thinking about my fantasy self stuff differently as well. Being organized saves time and money. Yes, because time is money. And then also the thing is this, if you know what you have, you're not repurchasing things because you can't find it. Oh, thank you, Transparent Me. I appreciate that. You've recently discovered too much stuff triggers depression and anxiety. Oh, yeah. If I get too much stuff around me, I just can't work until I get it cleared up. So, yes. Clutter triggers anxiety. Having less stuff relieves your anxiety and depression. So, Melinda ordered a copy of the workbook. I ordered one too. Yeah, pick one area and just kind of go through it gradually. Let's see. So several people have ordered the book, Inventory, Game Changer. Yes, I agree. Look at it as inventory. All right, I think I got these other ones. Going to put the links in. So yeah, I've been down here. Randy says Dawn is legit. She's changed how I approach my house. Yes, she's non-judgmental. She gives a lot of encouragement. Oh, Kathy said she likes my interviews. Oh, I'm so glad, Kathy. You guys tell me who else you want me to bring on too, because we're working on ideas for the first quarter. We pretty much got January taken care of. Oh, my calendar's not up here. Oh, my phone's here. We pretty much got January taken care of, but we are working on February. So give us some ideas for who you want. But yeah, we've got December's done, January's done, and we're working on February. We've got some spots, and we've also got some in March, but still. So let us know who you want to come on. We're working on that. And I'm going to try to contact Sophia. Several of you asked about Sophia at her great challenge. Oh, Kathy, thank you. Yeah, she told me earlier she'd had a root canal. So that's why I revisited the questions we were going to do and just pared them way down, because I thought we got to get her on and off. She probably needs to take a pain pill about now. Okay. Kathy says she's still at war with her several fantasy selves. Trust me, I get it. I got scrapbooking self, I got quilting self, I got sewing self, I got several fantasy selves. So, Ronnie, you're not the only one that's a hot mess. And then Melinda says, just start with what you're ready to let go of and you'll see the progress. So yeah, just start in one area and think about what area might be easiest for you to start in as also. That could be something you do. For example, maybe you start in a closet in the bedroom or a drawer in the kitchen or something like that. Penny, I think the workbook that she ordered can be a good way to help you do that. A nice little declutter plan. If you jumped on at 8:35 and she came on at 7:45, oh my gosh, she was marvelous. She was just marvelous. Please watch the replay because you missed a treat. You just got to watch the replay. It does take some time. Okay. Oh, Michelle's talking about a clean drawers challenge. She did one drawer a day for a month and it was easy to do. And she decluttered 30 drawers. Michelle, don't you do that challenge every year? Is that on your list of your editorial calendar for the first quarter for next year? Let us know. Ha! Yes, you won the apron note. So be sure and send me that email. I mean, your mailing address in my email. All right. So Melinda said she started decluttering in her kitchen because it was easiest for her as far as decisions were. And then those are everyday decisions that you can make easier. So that's a good idea to start there. Okay, let's see. So Michelle said she found 20 rolls of Scotch tape when she first started decluttering. So you think about that. You end up spending more money because you can't find where some things are. A hoarder's heart. I'm going to try that. I have a hoarder's heart here, so. I will put her on the list to try to contact. Okay. All right. Well, ladies, you guys are giving each other some advice. And Penny, she who prays daily, and be sure to tell us your name, she who prays daily. Consider one room per week or one room per month. Yeah, just start in one spot and just look for all the trash in that area. And then once you've looked for the trash in that area, then look at some of the things that you might have duplicates of, things that you that's no longer serving you, and ask yourself, is it something that you really need and use? If it's something you haven't used in a while, maybe it's something that you could bless someone else with. All right, well, We've been on for an hour, and I think I've been just chatting most of that time. Well, half of that time. I'll take that back. So, okay, I do have some news for you guys, though. I'm going to be interviewed tomorrow on my local TV show, or my local TV news. I was part of the United States of YouTube, where they picked like so many YouTubers from each state, and it was in this big promotion or this plan that they had where they were showing how YouTube makes an impact and the benefits that it has. And I was one of the 4 people that I've seen that's been picked from Indiana. So I will, I'll try to post the link maybe in here too, so that you guys can see it, or post it on my community tab so you guys can see that too. But I'm kind of excited about it. So that's my happy news. And then also, tell me your takeaway from tonight. How are you going to manage your home differently based upon tonight's conversation? Tell me in the comment section rather than in the chat. She who prays daily is Sylvia. Okay, nice to know. Oh, thank you, Nefertiri. I appreciate that. So I'm really excited about that. And then let me remind you guys, this is our Cyber Week sale on Apron Diva. So please check us out at www.aprondiva.com. If you want an apron as a Christmas gift, tell your significant other. A lot of men have been coming over buying things. I know they're buying gifts for their honey bun. And then also my latest video that I put up about laundry. Don't make these 7 laundry mistakes unless you like dull, dingy clothing. So be sure and check that out. And next week, it's going to be Kate Caton from Making Frugal Living Fun. And I think those are all our announcements for the week. So I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for joining me. And as I always say, you're not done yet. Click on the link in the comment section below and check out another of our Homemaking with Purpose shows or homemaking stories. And I'll see you guys next time. Good night.